13-year-old Cristina Pangalangan was a student at Colleton County Middle School. She was described by her family as a purely loving and wonderful soul. She was born with disabilities that resulted in her being wheelchair-bound and unable to communicate verbally. In August of 2019, her life ended under horrific circumstances.
That little girl was her world. Those words from the friend of a former Colleton County Teacher of the Year who is now accused of leaving her special needs child in a hot car for several hours, killing her.
WCSC reporting on the stunning charges. Longtime teacher Rita Pangalangan and her boyfriend, Larry Eugene King Jr., now accused of murdering her daughter, Cristina. Colleton County deputies say they intentionally left Cristina inside a hot car at King's home for 5 hours. And by the time they were called, it was too late to save her. The mother of one of Pangalangan's former students told WCSC she was stunned.
I don't understand how any child can be supposedly left in a car, especially this child with the special needs that she had. That was one of the first things Rita would do, would get her child out of the car.
Pangalangan told deputies she left her daughter in the car briefly to go inside her boyfriend's home for cigarettes. When she came back to the car, Cristina was locked inside, along with the keys. She said it took them hours to find another set of keys to get Cristina out. Detectives say security camera video tells a different story. According to court documents, videos showed the couple took Cristina from inside the home and placed her in the car. They checked on her a couple of times over the span of 5 hours, even leaving the home for an hour, leaving Cristina, who was unable to get herself out of the car due to her disabilities, in a car where temperatures could have reached more than 130 degrees. Rita Pangalangan has been suspended from her job as a teacher in Colleton County. She and Larry King have been out on bond on the murder charges. They have pleaded not guilty. The estate of Cristina Pangalangan has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the state of South Carolina Department of Social Services, saying more should have been done to protect Cristina.
This is some sick stuff. Now, when you say hot car death, we know that they happen, and we know that accidents happen. But some of the allegations here don't seem to be even close to an accident. Not even the explanation is close to an accident. Let's bring back in our think tank on this tragic case. Al Wunsch, Darnell Crosland, Jennifer Brandt with us. Darnell, you know, I've seen a lot of hot car cases through the years. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I can see how that might have happened, maybe. 13 years you're taking care of a special needs girl, and all of a sudden you forget, but you say you didn't forget, that you left your key fob and you just let her die? What? None of this makes sense. None of their explanation doesn't make sense. The video is atrocious if that's what it actually depicts here.
Absolutely. One of my first hot car cases wasn't a death, but a gentleman who owns a really thriving restaurant here in town went to City Hall just to run inside to pay taxes, and he had a dog in the car, and it's been like 20 minutes. And he called me frantic. They arrested him, charged him with it, and I had to defend that. And so I can only imagine, you know, how grossly negligent or intentional this was. And, you know, I've never been in a hot car situation, but I came close to, you know, drowning. Everybody took in water, and that must be one of the most horrific deaths that you could ever face, you know. And to have them check on this little girl several times while she just burned up and suffocated, you know, was ridiculous. And they should get the death penalty.
Jennifer Brandt, this is sick. I don't know. This isn't the case of, you know, I was going to work or something, and we usually drop them off at daycare. Not even close to that. And even the explanation to me that we locked the key fob in the car makes sense to me. You're going to smash the window. You call 911. Right. You do right. anything and everything to get your child out of a hot car.
Right. I mean, people lock their keys in the car, you know, and are able to get them out. You call the police. You call someone to assist. You don't just wait and look around for a key. I mean, it's such a weak explanation, Vinny. And to think that people really believe that they're going to get away with this, I mean, that's what's even more shocking, because you hear about these cases from time to time. And I mean, this was this child's own mother. and a teacher who cares about other children. I mean, it's just horrific. What happens to people? What gets in their mind to do something like this, and to think that they're going to get away and somehow not end up, like Darnell said, with the death penalty or in jail for the rest of their lives. It's just unbelievably tragic all around.
To me, Al, this is almost a defenseless hot car death case. Most of them, the defense is always the same. It's an accident. I forgot. It happens. And then we hear from people who have done it, but maybe not for 5 hours, but for 5 minutes. Whatever it is, we understand it's possible that it can accidentally happen. Doesn't mean that it's not always a murder. This, though, of all the hot car cases I've ever come across, this of all of them makes no sense to me when you try to say it was some sort of an accident when you actually say you're there.
Yeah, it's atrocious. I mean, you do whatever you need to do to get the kid out of the car. You take a rock, you take a shovel, you're at a house, you can get a brick, you smash the window, and you get it open. There's no excuse. I needed to wait 5 hours to find the spare set of keys. I mean, that doesn't make any sense at all. You don't call 911 and say, listen, we don't have anything here to break the window. And then they come and they can break the window. It doesn't make any sense. It's where did she get Teacher of the Year award? What did she, Alcatraz High? I mean, this woman is a monster, an absolute monster. And I mean, I'm not a big fan of the death penalty, but I mean, they deserve to go away forever. I don't think they should ever see the light of day ever again. This is a horrendous thing to do this to that poor girl, and it destroys me to hear something like that.
Benny, I'm a little confused. They said felony murder, which means it's usually an underlying felony like burglary where somebody dies. This seems intentional.
Yeah,
what's
it
the
seems.
felony?
I mean, yeah, maybe it's the child cruelty. I don't know. We will see. We will continue to cover this. Up next.